Peace and light, family. I hope that you are well. So we have officially reached my 6-year Locversary. Ah! I am a bit in shock that it came so fast. It feels like it came quickly, but I also feel like I felt every day of it, if that makes sense. But I'm very happy about it. It's already been 6 years, and if you've been following me on YouTube, then you've seen my 4-year lock journey video. You saw the all of the wash tutorials and all that stuff. If you've been following me on Instagram, then you've been there from the very beginning. But for those of you who are new to my channel, let me explain the background of my journey a little bit, and then we'll get into the gist of this video. So I started my lock journey in June of 2014. I shaved my head bald. It was the day of my aunt's funeral. My aunt Cassie, much love to her, rest in peace to her. She is one of my dearest, closest ancestors. She passed away from cancer. And during her journey of healing, or working through cancer, she had locks, and her locks started falling out. And I was in the hospital with her, supporting her, and the locks were just dropping. And she asked me to, just go ahead and cut her locks off. So I still have pictures from the day where I cut her locks for her. I took my earrings out of my ears. I put my lipstick on her. And we took photos of her with her bald head, just to help her feel beautiful and divinely feminine. And I never forgot that moment. So the day of her funeral, I went to the barber, I shaved my head bald, and I went to her funeral, and that was the day that this lock journey started. For those of you who do not know, this is my second set of locks. I freeformed the first time a year before that, back in 2013, I believe. I started my first set of freeform locks, and I decided, no, it was actually 2012. I think I started my first form of something like that. But I had a set, of freeform locks before then, and I decided to shave that set because I wanted a Grace Jones fade. And I just cut it off, got a Grace Jones fade. I was out here faded up, and then after that, the day of my aunt's funeral, I shaved my head bald and started this set of freeform locks. So since June of 2014, I have been freeforming my hair. I did not comb it. I did not brush it. I did not do anything to it. And I just started my lock journey from there. Now we are in the beginning of July 2020. So I'm a little bit late on the Locversary video, but it's okay, we are now July 2020, and it's been 6 years of freeforming, and I've learned so many different lessons. I shared a lot of information about freeforming on my YouTube channel. I have wash tutorials and how to moisturize and summer care and winter care and all this other stuff, So you can definitely search my channel for all those videos. However, in this video, I'm going to go through 6 new lessons that I've learned in this 6th year of freeforming. So I've already done lessons I've learned from freeforming, things I wish I would have known, but this is going to be 6 lessons that I learned specifically from this year. A lot has changed, you guys. A lot has changed on how I care for my locks, what I do for my locks. If you look at one of my newest videos about locks, I was, basically saying I feel like, oh, my locks have set now. They are mature locks. They're not changing too much. Completely wrong. So this is 6 lessons that I have learned in my 6th year of locking. Lesson number 1, locks are forever changing. Locks are forever changing. I definitely got to the point where I felt like, oh, my locks are mature. They are set. They're not really congoing too much. For those of you who are not familiar, freeform locks, if you do not separate your locks, they will congo up. So it's basically when 2 or more locks come together, like you see this one lock actually started out as 3 separate locks. 3 separate locks it started out as, and then it congoed, they combined and married into one lock. It actually started out with 2 marrying, and then a third one came in and just married. And I thought that, I was like, my locks aren't really congoing as much as they used to, but that is absolutely not true. I find a lot of new congos now. This is 2 locks that have married into one. I find a lot of new congos now. I have one over here this is 2 locks that congoed into one. This is 1 lock, and now these, I don't know if y'all can see, now these have now congoed into one lock of their own. So I thought that my locks were like pretty much set. I wasn't noticing too much congoing. And then it's like one day I was going through my locks and I was like, oh wow, I got a new congo here, a new congo there. In the back, I have quite a few new congo locks. So they are forever changing. You know, nothing is ever the same, I guess. And that's the beauty of freeforming is they are freedom locks. They're forever growing and changing and doing something different. You really have no control if you are not separating your locks. I do not separate my locks. I do not separate my locks. I do not separate my locks. I get that so much. People want to know like, oh, well, why do your locks look so uniform? Why your locks, you know, smaller? Listen, this is just how my hair locked up. It's if you look closely, they're not all uniform. I have some, they really are a bunch of different sizes. I have some extremely skinny ones like this one. I have some thicker ones like this. Like all three locks that I just grabbed are 3 different sizes. This one is super skinny. This is a medium, kind of still like pencil thin. This is like super thin. And then this right here is a thicker lock. And none of these 3 are congos. This is just how they all formed. So I have locks that are a bunch of different sizes. I do not separate. And because I do not separate, what I have found is that, you know, my locks are constantly congoing, constantly coming together. Sometimes I'll think that they're marrying together, and then just from me, I guess, moving around or styling them or whatever, sometimes they separate on their own, which I did a video about separation, how your locks will naturally separate on their own. You really don't have to do too much to it unless you want your locks to have a certain look to them. There are a lot of people who want to look like freeformers, so they want the big Congo locks, so they'll combine certain locks and they'll separate certain locks and combine them. You have people who want flat locks, so they'll tie their locks down to flatten them out as they grow. So people do a lot of different things to cultivate their freeform locks, if that makes sense, to cultivate their locks to look like freeform locks. But if you just let your locks go and flow, you'll notice that you'll have a bunch of different size locks, a bunch of different things that happen. And one of the biggest ways that happens is congoing. You will have 2 or 3 smaller locks that come together and create one big, huge lock. And that has been happening way more often. So my locks are still forever changing. And another thing that's changing is the way that I have to care for them. Something that I noticed is that, like, especially my scalp, within this 6th year, my scalp has greatly changed from what it used to be. If you watch my previous wash tutorials and my previous lock care tutorials, I often talk about how I don't necessarily have to moisturize my scalp. I put oil on my hair. I didn't have to moisturize my scalp, which brings me to lesson number 2. Lesson number 2 is I now have to moisturize. I used to just put oil. If you guys know, I use all natural products, avocado oil, coconut oil, things like that. My philosophy is if I cannot eat it, I'm not putting it on my hair, on my body, or in my body if it's not edible. So I just personally use a lot of natural things, avocado oil, coconut oil, things like that. And with me using those products, I would just put them on my hair. Now I actually have to consciously moisturize my scalp. It's like one day I woke up and my scalp was just itching. It was itching. And I was like, what the hell? And I looked in the mirror and I had dandruff. You guys, I never have dandruff. That was never a problem of mine. I never struggled with that. So for me to have dandruff, I was like, what's going on? Now I have to moisturize my scalp, y'all. My scalp has definitely changed. And it's not because I don't drink enough water. I drink plenty of water throughout the day. But I just think over time, you know, changes happen. So now I have to moisturize my scalp. Now, I still put a little bit of oil on my hair daily. When I oil my body, I'll just put the residue of the oil on my locks. But I actually consciously moisturize my scalp after every wash. So I'll moisturize it. I wash my hair about once a week, once every other week. But I'll constantly oil my scalp at least once per week. And I use the same thing, which I'll talk about later on. But I use the same products, the avocado oil, coconut oil, all that stuff. But moisturize. That is definitely a new thing for me. Lesson number 3 that I had to learn about my locks within this 6th year is definitely chill on the head wraps, y'all. If you know me, if you've been following me, especially on Instagram, you know that I wear head wraps all the time. I've been doing it for years. I've always wear head wraps, and I do it for several reasons. I do it for spiritual reasons. I wrap my hair. Most of it is for spiritual reasons, but the bonus of wrapping my locks is that it also protects my locks against dirt, debris, excess lint, and just people wanting to run their fingers through your locks. You know that, especially the longer your locks get, and because freeforming back when I first started, especially with my first set, nobody was really freeforming like that. It wasn't a popular thing. Now freeform locks are more popular, so people aren't as like enthused by them or like attracted to them. But back when I first started, people would always want to touch my locks. Oh, what are you doing? What is going on? What's happening? Are you okay? So what is freeforming? Can I see it? And there was always a lot of questions. Like literally I could be in a store and people would see my locks or see my hair, especially in those early phases, and were clearly wondering what's happening, and we would start a conversation and they would always want to touch my hair. So wearing head wraps, not just for spiritual reasons, a large part of it is for spiritual reasons, but it's also a protective barrier from everything, right? Because you want to be mindful of who you allow to touch your hair. You want to be mindful of the energy that you allow to enter your hair, because your scalp is a portal to your crown. So be mindful of that. Your hair is a portal to your crown. So be mindful of that, okay? But anyway, I would wear a lot of head wraps. Something I've learned in this 6 year is I definitely have had to chill on the head wraps. Chill on the head wraps. I cannot wear head wraps that often, and the reason I have to chill on the head wraps is because I did start noticing some thinning around the sides of my hair. Now, you really can't tell that much because I've chilled on the head wraps in this 6 year. I've chilled on the head wraps. I do my growth oil treatment. You can look at my Instagram page and see the recipe for the growth oil treatment. Also, I think I posted it on my YouTube page as well. But I've been using my own personal growth oil treatment to grow my edges back and to thicken them back up. They didn't fall out, but they started thinning. So I had to chill on the head wraps, and I would wear a silk scarf under my head wraps. I would wear a protective barrier under my head wraps, but I still started noticing some thinning, because anytime you have friction up against anything, it's going to cause breakage. Any type of friction against your hair constantly is going to cause breakage. Any type of pressure against your hair follicles will cause your hair follicles to weaken. So I love my head wraps. I love them dearly, and I still wear them. Some people probably like, girl, you still be wearing head wraps all the time. But compared to how much I used to wear them, I do wear them much less. Like, much less than I used to. I let my hair hang down more because I wouldn't say anti-styling, but I'm still very much style as little as possible. Style as little as possible. You do not need to constantly style your locks. If you do, that will also weaken your hair follicles. So I often wear my hair down, or I'll just throw it in like a low bun, a high bun, or something like that. But I don't wear head wraps as much as I used to. Chill on the head wraps a little bit, you guys. It will cause breakage. It will start thinning your edges. Chill. My fourth lesson, you guys, is to keep it all natural. Keep it all natural. I do not normally experiment with my hair. Once again, I posted mini wash tutorials and all that stuff, mini care routines. And if you guys notice, I use as much all natural edible products as I can. Because once again, my philosophy is if you cannot eat it, it should not go on or in your body. So all of the, I'm not going to say all, most of the products I use are edible to cleanse my hair. I do herb rinses. I do apple cider vinegar rinses, or things like that, and you can eat apple or drink apple cider vinegar. All the herbs that I use for my hair are herbs that I drink in my tea and things like that. So in my philosophy, if you cannot eat it, do not put it on your hair. However, I was feeling a little experimental, right? So one day I was like, let me try. When I woke up and my scalp was itching, when I went through that phase of like an itchy scalp, I was like, I don't want to be moisturizing my hair too much. I don't want to put too much oil on my scalp, because a lot of oil causes my skin to break out. I have very sensitive skin. So I was like, maybe I need to switch up my shampoo. Like maybe I need to switch up my wash routine. So I purchased some liquid black soap, and I'm not going to name the company, but I purchased some liquid black soap. And then I also purchased a bar of black soap. So I was like, let me try black soap. I used to use black soap with my first set of locks. And when I think back to it back then, that was really the only thing black soap and Castile soap is what I used to do my first set of locks. And the Castile soap has such a better result than the black soap that I just stopped. But it wasn't a specific reason. Like the black soap didn't have any negative effects to cause me to stop. I just used it to stop because the Castile soap was better. So anyway, I was like, let me just try the black soap. Let me try to switch it up and do something different. Y'all, switched it up to the black soap. I had the bar and the liquid. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, y'all. Like, absolutely not. The black soap for my hair, for my locks, once again, your locks may be a little different. For my locks, the black soap was not a good idea. It was just not a good idea. It did not work out well for me. It caused my scalp to itch even more, no matter how much I rinsed it out. I also feel like it kind of tinted my locks a little bit, and I don't want to hear like, oh, you got artificial black soap. No, this is the real black soap. Is, if you guys don't know, black soap is not necessarily supposed to be pitch black. It's like a brownish tint to it. It's like a brown soap, but as you continue to use it, it will turn black naturally if you get natural black soap. So anyway, it's a good company from Africa, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this, try this out. It did not have positive effects. My scalp started itching even more. I felt like my locks had like a tinted color. I didn't like the scent of it. The scent bothered me. So keep it natural. Like, stick to what you know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I thought it was broke because my scalp was itching, when in actuality, I just needed to actually start oiling my scalp. That was the remedy for the itchy scalp. I just needed to oil it, and not, every day like I was doing my locks, but just oil it at least once a week. My scalp just needed a little bit more moisture. That's it, you guys. So keep it as natural as possible. If it works for you, it works for you. Don't be trying out different products. Don't be a product junkie. Some people use, Pantene and Cantu and Shea Moisture and all of that. And I'm nothing against those brands. If that works for you, then use it. But stick to what works for you. For me, all natural products works for me. So that's what I'll stick to. That was a lesson. Keep it all natural. The fifth lesson. Blow drying is helpful. The longer you have your locks, the longer your locks get, the more dense they become, the more weight that they hold, the more water they hold. Locks are like a sponge, so they hold water. When I was in my first year, second year, third year, I used to be able to just wash my locks, let them sun dry, let them air dry. They'll be dry in less than 20. My first year, I used to be dry in less than 4 or 5 hours. Then the time started escalating, progressing, how long it would take for them to dry. But like around my 4th, 5th year, it would take still less than 45, less than 24 hours for them to dry. Now, in 24 hours, my locks are definitely still damp. My locks hold more water. And I've told you guys time and time again, do not wring your locks. Do not wring your locks. If you wring your locks, they will start to break at the spaces that you wring them at. Do not wring your locks out. So in order to release the excess water, you just want to press down. Just press down. Now, this is the thing though. And no matter how much you press down, there's still going to be water in your locks because your locks, once again, are like a sponge. So I noticed that it was just taking way more time for my locks to dry. I finally had to start using a blow dryer, y'all. And even when I go out in the sun, to let them sun dry, I can sit out there for 6 hours and they still will be wet, okay? They still will be wet. So no matter how much sun drying I do, it takes longer than 24 hours for my locks to dry. And me personally, I just cannot sit in the sun for 9, 10, 12 hours, okay? I just can't. So I've had to start blow drying my locks, you guys. And I don't blow dry them for long. I keep the blow dryer on low. I just blow dry it just to get that first, excess moisture. I let them sit in the towel so the towel could soak up some of the moisture. Take them out of the towel, and then I'll blow dry them on low for about 15 minutes just to soak up some of that excess water, dry that out, and then I let them air dry for the rest of the way. So not overheating, not over blow drying, but just definitely blow drying a little bit. Blow drying is helpful. Now, if you are still in the early phases, you're still, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, even 4 years, you don't necessarily need to blow dry. Let your locks air dry. But once again, in this 6th year, I've learned a blow dryer is helpful. Get those locks dry, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to allow the water to sit and it develops mold, and then your hair starts to have an odor, and then it's all downhill from there. Blow dry your locks. Now, my sixth and final lesson, you guys, this lesson reigns supreme from day one until now. Day one until 6 years later, this lesson is still, to me, the most important lesson of them all. The lesson: do not listen to other people's opinion, judgment, feelings, sentiments about your locks. And not just your locks, but really anything you do. But specifically, we're talking about locks. Do not listen to other people's judgment about your locks. People are going to, especially as a freeformer, people have so many opinions. Once again, freeforming is more popular now. It's more trendy now. So people are somewhat used to it. But when I first started, I got a lot of judgment about my locks. A lot of people like, what are you doing? Freeform locks are ugly. You should cultivate them, at least get them twisted. First, there was so many people who didn't want me to lock my hair at all. You know, family, friends, strangers, co-workers. So many people like, why are you locking your hair? Why are you going to do that to your hair? You don't need to do that. Da, da, da. Then when I shaved all my hair off, it was like, oh, and you're shaving your hair. Why would you? People always have opinions. People are always going to talk, right? And then as time progressed, it was, what are you doing? Oh, I don't like that. That doesn't look good. Da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, they're starting their lock journey. All of a sudden, I think I want to freeform. All of a sudden, they're calling for advice or watching my videos on YouTube on the low, you know. They have joined the freeform team, you know. And that's the thing. Like, people judge what they don't understand. People judge what they don't comprehend. You know, they slight it. They go against it because it's not a part of their repertoire. It's not their cup of tea in the moment. But next thing you know, they sitting down and sipping with you. Okay, do not listen to other people's judgment about your locks or your hair or anything you do. If your spirit is telling you to do something, just do it. Your spirit is leading you down a certain path or leading you in a certain direction. Go in that direction. Go in that direction. Do not listen to other people's judgment. I don't care who they are. Mother, father, sister, brother, cousins, friends, best friends. Anybody, I don't care who they are. If they have an opinion about something that you're doing and it's a negative opinion, more than likely it's because they don't understand it. Now, sometimes they're right, but when it comes to like your hair and things you want to do, really meditate on it. Follow your spirit guides, pray about it, listen to the answers, pay attention to all of the signs. And really, if you are still led to do that thing, do it. Especially when it comes to your hair, you guys. Once again, judgment is going to come from everywhere. But most people don't understand the history of freeform locking. Check out my video on the history of locks. Most people don't even understand what it is. What does it mean to freeform? Why are you doing that? Why are your locks different sizes? Literally, I was teaching and I had my hair in a bun and I walked in, you know, when you're a freeform, you have loose roots. You have loose, look, I'm discovering new Congo locks right now on video. So clearly this is a new Congo that I didn't even notice. So this, oh wow. So these are two locks that were already Congos on their own. As you can see, they were two locks that came together and Congoed, and then now they have developed their own Congo. But anyway, wow. Okay. Y'all, wait till my 7th year. It's going to be quite interesting, huh? But anyway, so I was putting my hair in a bun. I have my hair in a bun, and once again, I have loose roots. So my hair in a bun, you can definitely like see all the loose roots. When I walked into the classroom, my students was like, Miss Poe, what happened to your hair? What's wrong with your hair? Like, why does your hair look like that? They didn't understand. You know, a lot of people don't understand. When they see people with locks, they think that your roots are supposed to be twisted. I've been asked so many times, like, do you ever get your hair done? You don't ever get your hair done? And I got to explain, like, look, I'm a freeformer, and explain to people what that means. So the point is, listen, people don't understand it. They're not going to get it. Do you, okay? Do you. Do not listen to the judgment. Follow your spirit and do you. Thank you so much for watching, family. These were my 6 lessons in 6 years of freeforming. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your time. I hope these lessons were helpful. Keep in mind that some of these lessons do not need to be applied until you are later in your lock journey. Like, you don't need to blow dry your hair if you are in the very beginning of your lock journey. However, some lessons you definitely may want to start applying immediately, like chill on the head wraps. You don't want to have to experience the thinning hair to get the lesson of chilling on the head wraps. Another lesson that you can apply immediately is don't listen to other people's judgments and opinions about what you do, okay? Because they will be on your bandwagon later on, and that's okay. Welcome them to the community. But thank you so much, family. I love you. Thank you for your energy. Please like, share, and subscribe. And much love to you. I'll see y'all year 7. Peace, y'all.